Bocconcini and prosciutto appetizer eyeballs.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for Yo-Yo Max 12.
Now this isn't really a recipe, it's more of a technique because really it's just super simple. In fact, you almost really don't need a video for this. Maybe a couple of photos, that would be it. You're gonna need bocconcini, which are those little soft unripened cheese balls that come in a package in a liquid. I cut off some pointy bits because they weren't quite perfectly round, and then I'm using a piping tip for frosting to cut out a hole. Now the first one I made quite deep, took out quite a large chunk because I was going to put an entire green stuffed olive in there. Then the second one I thought that it might look better if it wasn't sticking out so much, so I just cut a shallower chunk out and then just a slice of olive, which I think is better. It looks better and it's going to taste better with less olive. And then finally, to add the flesh around the eyeball, that's a slice of prosciutto. Cut it in half lengthwise and then just wrap it around the eyeball. Now this on its own tastes fine. However, I find it needs something to dip it in. So I love bocconcini cheese with balsamic vinegar. It is so good. So I decided to make a sweetened reduction, just so I could dip these in. That's a cup of balsamic vinegar in a small saucepan. And balsamic is pretty sweet on its own, but if you want to sweeten it, you can add a couple tablespoons of honey. Stir that until it is dissolved, and then you're going to boil this. Gently boil it until it's reduced. Now, I reduced mine by about a good third. If you want it super thick, you can reduce it even more. If you want to see how thick it is, take a spoonful out, at least let it cool, and you'll see how thick it is once it's cooled off. And then drizzle a little bit in the bottom of a serving dish, and then add your little eyeball on top of that. Now, of course, this would be cute if you used Halloween themed style dishes and that kind of a thing. And that's actually quite a bit of balsamic reduction I'm putting on there. And you can see it's quite thick. I love this stuff, so I didn't mind having a little extra. Just like that. And here it is on a plate with a little bit less. Now these are delicious because that sweet balsamic vinegar counteracts the saltiness in the prosciutto and that creaminess of the cheese in the middle. These are really good. I think 2 per person would be plenty if you're making an appetizer for a Halloween dinner. Now, because that was so quick, here is a little bonus recipe. Take some miniature pretzels and you can put a candy melting wafer on there. I would probably use white, but I didn't have any white ones in the house, so I just use yellow. It's Halloween, who cares, right? It could be any color. Put them in the oven at 300 degrees for about 2-3 minutes until they just start to melt and look shiny. And then I pressed an M&M into the candy melt. Now you don't want them to melt too much because you don't want that to go through the pretzel, right? You want to kind of stay on top, just enough so that it holds onto that candy. And then you just take a little bit of frosting and draw a little black spot in the middle of the eye. So that's with candy melting wafers. Now, originally what I wanted to do was use Hershey's Kisses for this. And the Hershey's Kisses I'm talking about are the ones that are called Hugs. They're white and they have like a stripe, a brown stripe on them. And you can even get the candy cane flavored ones, which have like a red stripe. Those were the ones I was looking for. Couldn't find them anywhere. All I could find that was white in a Hershey's Kiss were these cookies and cream Hershey's Kisses. Same thing, I put those in the oven for about 2 minutes at 300 and they melted just fine. And they are kind of white, but because of all those chunks of cookie in there, I just find it didn't look like an eyeball at all. So I turned them into little melted monsters or little monsters by adding some candy eyeballs and some Halloween themed sprinkles. And they're cute. They're cute. It makes a cute little bite of sweet and salty. And there are the eyeballs just on their own. And here are my monster melts. I have quite a few eyeball themed videos on my channel. They're all on my Halloween playlist. Go ahead and check them out by clicking on them right on your screen or seeing the link in the description box below for the Halloween playlist. Thanks for watching.